So when it comes to profession, I personally feel that you should be able to put your heart, mind, and soul into your profession.
कैसे करूँ?
If you do not put your heart, mind, and soul into your profession, you cannot make sense of it. You cannot contribute to it. You cannot take it to any level. So, no matter what you do, no matter how humble, how big, how small, how important, how unimportant your profession is, you know, you have to put your heart, mind, and soul into it. Otherwise, it does not make sense. So, I say do it wholeheartedly with passion, or don't do it at all. You should not take upon tasks which you cannot do with full passion and wholeheartedly. So put your heart, put your soul, put your mind into your profession. The profession should be something which should have a long-term stability.
Space answer.
So a homemaker, this is a long-term stability in the profession. And the profession should also have a financial security in it. So but that comes much earlier in life, that when we're choosing a profession, what to choose and how to go about it now. So a good profession is one that provides you stability, provides you financial security, but most importantly, profession is something that you should be able to slug out through, because there will be times things will get hard, things will get tough, things will get boring. Your profession should be such that you should be able to actually go through the tough times, hard times, and just and so that you can sustain it, you can do it in a long term way, long term fashion. So uh, features of profession are stability, financial stability, and something which you can sustain, which gives a structure to your life, which compels you to wake up in the morning, go to work, come back home and sleep, get tired, and again do it again and again, round the year. And no matter what season is it, no matter what your mood is, no matter how you're feeling, unless you're really very physically ill, you should be able to actually go to your profession and continue your main occupation part of things. So that's what the profession, and we must all take care of a profession and pursue it wholeheartedly. Second is the passion. Now the passion has to be different from profession. Some people say my profession is my passion. No, it does not work like that. If your passion has become your profession, then you choose another passion. Passion is a hobby. Passion is something that we feel good about. Passion is something that entertains us. Passion is something that makes us happy. Passion is something that makes us crazy. We can, we can do it in odd hours. We don't need any time of the day, and we can do it in odd hours. We can feel happy about that. We can go crazy about this. Passion need not make sense. So when it comes to passion, we spend money, we throw money, we burn money. We do not look at ROI, return on investment, when it comes to passion. So passion is something that is close to your heart, and which is fun, which is enjoyable, something that makes us really happy. And mind you, the passion has to be separate, different from your profession. If your passion becomes your profession, choose another passion. Because after some point of time, the profession becomes dull, dry, drab, boring. It You lose the charm in your profession, at least temporarily. It is those times where the passions come into play. It is the passion that makes your life fun, interesting, and keeps you going. So if profession is the fuel of life, which drives you, which makes you do things and makes you go, the passion is the lubricant oil. So a machinery needs not only an engine needs not only a fuel to run it, but also oil for it to run smoothly without making noise, without breaking down. So that's why it's very, very important to have a passion simultaneously, and not just one passion. You can have a number of passions. I mean, I think I have got maybe 4, 5, 6, 10, maybe countless number of passions that I have, and I keep switching. I keep swinging between one passion to the other passion. There are days when I'm singing and I'm mad about singing, and then there are days when I'm doing photography. The days when I'm into fitness and other stuff, So it keeps changing. So you have to see that what appeals to your heart, what you feel happy about, what is your passion, and follow it. But follow it more or less on a routine basis alongside your profession, because it will make your passion makes your profession more tolerable. The passions increase your proficiency and productivity in your profession. So if people are very well driven about their profession, and they are very ambitious about the profession, they should also follow a passion, because passion is actually helping them in their profession. Third P is the physique, our body. uh, we are not our body. So what I am, I'm not this body. You are not your body. You are something else. As an individual, something else. But body is important. Body is our tool. Body is our manifestation in this world, in this life. Body is what enables us to do things. Body is what enables us to interact with others. So it is the tool that helps you function in life and enjoy it to the fullest. And there are different aspects of the body which we should focus on. First, of course, is the appearance, and appearance is very, very important to all of us. What do we look like? Good, bad, ugly, fat, slim, thin, fit, unfit, whatever. So appearance is actually important, and it can affect how you feel, how you think, whether you're happy, unhappy. Appearance has a lot of role to play in that. Movement, so how your body functions, how you move about, whether you can walk 1 mile, whether you can walk 10 miles, whether you can lift 1 kg or 10 kg, whether you're able to climb one set of stairs, whether you're able to climb a mountain. So your movement, your ability to do things physically is very, very important. It affects your state of mind, your quality of life, your happiness. Emotions, what we feel: happy, sad, love, pain, agony, hope, despair. These are important things. So our emotions are very important part of our physique, our body, and they affect our life. And in a way, we are all a bundle of emotions, and you know our emotions can make and mar our life. So emotions are an important aspect. Our thoughts, what do we think, how logical we are, how illogical we are, what bothers us, what we are concerned about, and whether we are optimistic, whether we are despaired, whether we are logical, whether we are illogical. So our thought process, whether we're analytical or not, our thought process and our thoughts affect our whole life. So that's an important aspect of the body. The choices, decisions, actions, and expressions, and the choices which we make can affect our life. The decision which we make affects our life. Our actions, our expressions, they all affect our life. They affect our body. They are all part of our body. Sex, yeah, taboo word, sex. Sex is a very, very important driving force in this world. So, and it affects your life in a big way. If suppose there was no sex drive, I don't think nobody would want to get married. Nobody would want to interact with the person of opposite sex, and families would not happen. The life would not go on. So the nature has made this force, which is a very, very primal driving force, which makes this world go round. Now it's a big phrase. I'm saying sex makes the world go round. We will talk about this in our subsequent chats, but if you really think about it, go to the root of the things, you'll realize, fine, that is very, very important, because uh, sex brings people together. It brings about more people, keeps people together, and keeps the life going. So keeps the world going. Disease. Disease can affect our life, our quality of life, our body, our mind. Disease can affect everything. So we'll be talking about diseases as well. Death. Now, in the last 2, 3 months, death has become a very large, looming shadow over the entire world. We are all mortified. We are all scared. We are all despaired. We don't know what's going to happen. Whether we're going to live, whether we're going to die. There are people dying. I think millions have already died across the world. Thousands have died in India. And every now and then you get to hear that so-and-so has died. People have died of COVID. People have died of other causes also. We heard about Sushant Singh, you know, who committed suicide due to depression. So death is a very important entity. And somehow we always scared to talk about death. We are scared of mentioning the idea of death, especially our death, or death of a close person, death of somebody who's nearby. So we are scared, we are shy, we are afraid. I think death should not be a taboo subject at all. We should all talk about death. We should also discuss death. We should also prepare and plan for death. Planning for death is important also, which we'll talk about. And death, although people take it as an end of life, I say that death is the culmination of life. Death is sort of your graduation day. You go to a higher level. This whole life which you have spent, you kind of, it comes to a culmination, a point where you are awarded a degree and you move to a higher level. Of course, you leave the class, you leave your school, you leave the institution behind. Your friends will go away from you, like it happens in graduation. You will go to distant land, and you will miss your college, you'll miss your friends, your friends will miss you, your college will miss you. But that should be taken as a graduation. So I think we need to change our perspective about that. So we will talk about death also in one of the, or maybe a few of the talks which we'll be planning. Last thing, thereafter. Is there any afterlife? Is there any before life? Can we think of what happens after death? No. Hindu scriptures are known to talk of past life, future life, rebirth, karma, and all this stuff. We will at least explore this concept that whether there's an afterlife or not. We'll talk about not just the death, but the birth part also. That what happens at birth, what happens before birth, what happens in early childhood. How is early childhood important in our life? They say the child is the father of the man. And for a very, very long time, I could not understand this phrase. But what it, of course, says that how a child is brought up, how your childhood goes, depends on what kind of a person you'll become as an adult, what kind of life you're gonna have. So these things are all very, very relevant. Next P is people. Very important. We're surrounded by people, family, friends, colleagues. People are important part of life. To some extent, life is all about relationship. Life is all about interacting with the people, our colleagues, even strangers, our employers, our lovers, or the people that we love, our pets. Pets are people. I'm not going to be calling pets as animals. Pets are people, because if you have a pet and if you spend some time with the pet, you'll realize that the interaction you have is as you interact with another individual, almost a human, which stays quiet but behaves, thinks, interacts with you like a human only. So people are very, very important in our life. And so anyone who touches your life, or anybody's life you touch, are the people that I'm talking about. And how they affect us, how we affect them, how they affect the quality of our life, how they affect our living, is an important aspect. We'll discuss about various things. We'll discuss about relationship, we'll discuss about marriage, we'll talk about friendships, we'll talk about love affairs and all. So we'll talk about all those things. So those subjects are relevant for living and life. Place. This word is so wide and so beautiful. Every place has got its charm. Every place is so beautiful. There are mountains, there are forests, there are beaches, there are canyons, there are sand dunes, and there are deserts, and there are rivers, and there are lakes, there are oceans. It's a beautiful word. It's a beautiful place. Each place you visit affects you in a very, very unique way. It leaves a marker on you, leaves an impression on you, leaves a memory in your head. And I mean, it's not accidentally that nature has designed things in a different way. There is definitely, every place has got its effect on us. So we should experience new places as much as you can. And we should not rush through those places. We should stay there. We should absorb the place. So every place gives you new experience. It enriches you in many, many invisible ways. So we'll talk about places, we'll talk about travel, we'll talk about holidays and all. And not just this word, the whole universe is amazing. We should explore the entire universe. Most of us, sadly so, cannot visit those beautiful places up there in the sky. We can't visit moon, we can't visit Mars. And most of us cannot. But sitting at home, we can always explore, we can always learn about them. And I'll tell you, it's an amazing journey trying to understand your universe, trying to understand the phenomena of nature, trying to understand various phenomena of the universe, how things happen. It's mind boggling, it is mind blowing. And it's a scientific journey, it's a scientific exploration. But the deeper you go into science, the deeper you go into this journey, the more amazed you are about this universe, the more you feel that there has to be some creator, some superpower, some amazing super scientist who made all this happen, who made all this possible. So we will talk about places, we'll talk about our universe first, and we'll see that, whether we can talk about the super scientist or not also. Next P is very important, pesa. Pesa ye pesa, and money, 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 it makes the world go round. No? And money is a very important part of our lives. Money basically is our ability to acquire things to make our life livable, to provide the comforts, needs, necessities, desires of life. And to some extent, money can be linked to happiness. Yes, you do need money to lead a fulfilling life, to lead a comfortable life, to feel happy. But to a certain level. Now, if you look at this graph in this picture over here, the blue dots, the blue line is happiness. The green bars are the money or the wealth that you have or you're earning. As your wealth or your income or your earning capability increases, the happiness increases. And there comes a point where, although the income is increasing, but the happiness starts plateauing down. The happiness does not increase beyond a certain level. Then there comes a point that more money you have, the happiness starts decreasing. So actually, the lot of money is counterproductive, or is basically self-defeating in terms of happiness. So we should know these aspects, that how much money do we need to be happy, how much money do we need to be comfortable, and if we go beyond that, we're actually defeating the purpose. We are poorly affecting the quality of our life. We are kind of compromising the quality of life. So we'll discuss all this, but not just the amount of money, but how we manage our money, how we spend our money, how we plan our future, how we plan our investments. All that is important. So money management, with regards to an individual, a family, we'll talk about that. We'll have our experts coming on for that. So uh, money management, amount of money, income, we'll talk about this. So paisa is a very, very important aspect. So this is an important P. The last and the seventh P is philosophy. Life is all about philosophy, ultimately. Though we live through passions, it affects our daily life, but but in the final analysis, just a moment, I have to mute somebody's mic, which is interfering with the audio. So philosophy is life. So what is life? What is our purpose in this life? It's important to have a philosophy of a life, important to define our purpose. See, we should look for our purpose, but if we are not able to find a purpose, we should create a purpose. We don't really know that what are we brought here for, what are we supposed to do, and whosoever designed this whole world, the scientist behind this whole scenario may have had some purpose for us. We may not really know. If we don't know, at least let us decide for ourselves what is our purpose of life. Whether our purpose is being a doctor and healing somebody, whether our purpose is being an entertainer and entertaining somebody, whether our purpose is being a priest and helping us people reach the God, whether our purpose of being a spiritual healer, so, or whether our purpose is just being a student and studying for our future. So we should define the purpose of life. So find or define a purpose and work towards it. Ultimately, so that when you're towards the end of your life, you should be able to look back and tell yourself, yes, I have achieved things, I have done things, I have fulfilled the purpose. This life has been worthwhile. And I would say that consider yourself a company, and here I've written as Yourself Inc. or Yourself Limited, and formulate a vision mission statement for yourself. So any businesses, any companies start with the vision mission statement. So I think it'll be worthwhile, good idea to sit down and maybe form a vision mission statement for yourself and define that what is the vision for your life, what is the mission of your life, and start working towards that. Start planning your company around that. All these pieces that we discuss, you can always put them into business aspect also. So like people can be our HR department, the profession can be our production department, the passion can be our marketing department, the places can be the market place, and money can be the finance and accounts department, and philosophy becomes our vision mission statement. Our body becomes our infrastructure, our machinery, our operational stuff. So define a vision mission statement for yourself and start working towards it. So these are the 7 P's of life, 7 different aspects of life, and we need to think about them. We need to consider them. We need to work towards them. We need to maintain a balance of them. If we ignore people in our life, we cannot be happy for too long. If we ignore a profession in our life, we cannot be happy in life for too long. If we ignore money management, we'll end up in trouble and we'll be unhappy for a thing. If we ignore our passions, if we ignore our hobbies and all, we'll feel sad, morose. We'll be doing everything else, but we'll not be happy. So all these things are important for our wholesome living. If we don't have philosophy in our life, I fear that towards our later years in life, towards the end of our life, we may feel sad. We may feel very, very dissatisfied. Okay, yes, I have lived my life. I earned my money. I've taken care of my family and friends. I've enjoyed my passions. I've been to various places and all. But what have I achieved? Have I served the purpose of my life or not? Whether I have lived a good life, whether I have lived a meaningful life or not. So we should have a philosophy of a life and we should work towards it. So if we address all the 7 aspects of our life, I'm quite confident that our life will be wholesome and worthy of being satisfied about. So in talks and times to come, in weeks to come, the talks will be on various subjects which kind of fall into all these categories. So basically everything on this universe, everything in this world, everything about life falls in these categories. So we'll talk about all those things. I'll be calling experts. And if you have any suggestion on any subject and topic, feel free to message me on Facebook or on my WhatsApp or wherever you want to. If you think that you are an expert in a subject or you have an experience in a topic in a subject and you can actually contribute, and share your knowledge and which can benefit others, write to me. I'll invite you as an expert. And if you want to say put some questions forth to the experts, feel free on those things. I have not yet decided on a specific date and time, but I'm considering the possibility of a Sunday afternoon like today. So please give me your feedback whether Sunday afternoon 12 to 1. It will be about half an hour to 45-minute thing, not more than that, because people don't have attention for longer than that. And I've already taken half an hour of yours now. So give me your feedback about what date and what time is suitable to most people. I can have different dates on alternate weeks, or we can have a same day every week, same time. So one suggestion came that why not have on a Sunday at 12 o'clock every Sunday, and that's a good suggestion that is possible also, but I'll need your feedback. So guys, thank you very much for listening to me. Thank you very much for being here. I am looking forward to these chats myself, and I'm looking forward to having you all with me on these chats. You will be given option to ask questions in these live chats, through Zoom and through Facebook. Please do attend. Please spread the word amongst your family and friends. Let them come in. Let them also enjoy it. Let them also benefit. And that's one way we can actually, share and build up on our collective knowledge and make the pursuit of our life or our life a very, very happy journey. Thank you very much. Hope to see you again next week, possibly the next Sunday at 12 o'clock. I'll be first starting with a series of chats or session on fitness, because people are in the lockdown state, people are feeling very lethargic. So let us start with talking about fitness, and we'll, so basically we'll talk about body first, and then we'll go on to various other aspects, So thanks once again, and bye bye. I'm signing off.